fight he's in is a war.
I want the champion next. Give me the champion.
And all the way up at the top, it's like I'm flying them.
This is my division, man. I'm here to stay.
Slapshot Gadela says, I will be Brazil's next champ. She might be the best striker in all of women's MMA.
Nobody gonna take this belt from me.
And I'll never forget it.
He's out. There's Kane, and then there is everyone else. A legend.
Tracy Edgar is one of the greatest fighters that we've ever seen step inside of the octagon.
He is a monster. She looks like a woman on a mission. One of the, if not the most durable female fighter in the world.
He rocked him. Absolutely incredible. Let him hear you roar. Roar.
Get ready, world.
It's time.
What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. Tomorrow is UFC 197, John Jones versus Ovince St. Preux for the interim light heavyweight title, and Demetrius Johnson versus Henry Cejudo for the flyweight title. We're here to talk about International Fight Week, which kicks off July 5th and runs through July 10th. It is the weekend of championships. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night we have fights. We have championship title matches. Rafael Dos Anjos, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and Miesha Tate all defending their titles. We have a 3-day fan expo running Friday to Sunday at the Las Vegas Convention Center with everything from fighter signings, Hall of Fame inductions, martial arts tournaments, and tons of other good stuff. Tickets for the fan expo go on sale next Friday, April 29th at 12 p.m. All right, let's get to it. All right, calm down there, buddy. UFC Fight Night, Dos Anjos versus Alvarez, Thursday, July 7th at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, exclusively on UFC Fight Pass. Tickets on sale Friday, May 6th at 10 a.m.
For years, Eddie Alvarez has been the epitome of the Philadelphia fighter. Gritty, fearless, and willing to face anyone, anywhere. Fans even gave him a nickname, the Underground King. On Thursday, July 7th, International Fight Week kicks into high gear when Alvarez, fresh off back-to-back wins over Anthony Pettis and Gilbert Melendez, challenges for the UFC Lightweight Championship. But champion Rafael Dos Anjos is not willing to relinquish his crown. And after turning back the likes of Donald Cerrone, Benson Henderson, Pettis, and Nate Diaz, there is no more fearsome fighter in the 155-pound weight class.
Rafael Dos Anjos is one of the greatest lightweights that's ever competed inside the octagon. If you look at his performance against Benson Henderson, if you look at his performance against Nate Diaz, his absolute beatdown of Cowboy Cerrone, he's an animal. Eddie Alvarez is a guy who has won titles in other organizations and has always been one of the most exciting guys outside the UFC. So this is the big mountain for Eddie Alvarez. This is the shining moment for him to prove that he is championship caliber. He's going to get a chance to fight the guy who, in my opinion, is the best lightweight ever.
Thursday, July 7th, live from Las Vegas, it's UFC Fight Night. Dos Anjos versus Alvarez on UFCFightPass.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, the number 2 ranked lightweight contender in the world, Eddie Alvarez. The UFC lightweight world champion, Rafael Dos Anjos. The Ultimate Fighter finale Friday, July 8th at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Live and free on Fox Sports 1 at 10 p.m. in the East, 7 in the West. Tickets on sale Friday, May 6th at 12 p.m.
What are you doing?
Come down.
What?
Go to the jungle. Where's your place?
Yeah.
Go away.
Go where?
Such a bitch. Hey, don't push me.
Don't push me. You do it first.
I'm gonna put you in shame.
Do it.
In 2014, Poland's Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Brazil's Claudia Gadelha delivered a 3-round war that showed UFC fans just how exciting the women's strawweight division could be. This year, they will meet twice. First as coaches on The Ultimate Fighter.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm great,
Look
thank
what I
you.
bring.
Nice. I like that.
Then as rivals for the UFC Strawweight Championship on July 8th in Las Vegas, making it another night to remember during International Fight Week.
Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Claudia Gadelha is the most important fight in the strawweight division. I say that based on how close their first fight was. Their first fight was a split decision win for the current champion, Joanna. Joanna is a terrifying fighter, and Joanna Jędrzejczyk is probably one of the best strikers in all of mixed martial arts, period.
This is crazy!
When you look at Claudia's skill set, she's very physically strong. She has excellent ground and pound, a very good Brazilian jiu-jitsu base, as well as an excellent kickboxing base. And she wants to get in there one more time with Jędrzejczyk, and this time, finish it. This time, wrestle that title away from this champion and become the new women's strawweight champion of the world.
After a memorable season as coaches on The Ultimate Fighter, UFC strawweight champion Joanna Jędrzejczyk and #1 contender Claudia Gadelha finally meet again to settle one of the most heated rivalries in the sport today.
Ladies and gentlemen, the #1 strawweight in the world, Claudia Gadelha. And the UFC strawweight champion of the world, Joanna Jędrzejczyk. All right, UFC 200. The heavyweights, Velasquez versus Brown, Saturday, July 9th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, only on pay-per-view. Tickets go on sale Friday, April 29th at 10 a.m.
For over 8 years, Cain Velasquez has fought and beaten the biggest punchers in the heavyweight division. From Ben Rothwell and Brock Lesnar to Bigfoot Silva and Junior Dos Santos, the 2-time heavyweight champion has torn through all comers. But on July 9th, Velasquez will face a finishing machine intent on wearing the belt he covets, as Travis Brown, owner of knockout victories over Stefan Struve, Gabriel Gonzaga, Alistair Overeem, and Josh Barnett, looks to add a former champion's name to his list of vanquished foes.
Cain Velasquez, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, desperately wants that title back. And Travis Brown desperately wants a victory over the greatest heavyweight of all time.
The biggest show in UFC history will have 2 big men throw down as 2-time heavyweight champion Cain Velasquez battles Travis Brown.
Ladies and gentlemen, the #7 ranked heavyweight in the world, Travis Brown. And the former UFC heavyweight champion, the #1 ranked heavyweight in the world, Cain Velasquez. All right, also at UFC 200, Tate versus Nunes for the Bantamweight Championship.
A pioneer in women's mixed martial arts, Miesha Tate reached the pinnacle of the sport nearly 10 years after her debut, when she submitted Holly Holm in the 5th and final round of their March title fight, winning the UFC Women's Bantamweight Championship of the world. But Tate's journey is far from over, as she will defend her crown for the first time against Brazil's Amanda Nunes, a ferocious challenger whose 5 UFC wins have her on the verge of making history of her own.
Amanda Nunes is one of the most dangerous female bantamweight fighters on the planet Earth. She has legitimate one-punch knockout power. She has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and she is absolutely ferocious in her competitive approach. Miesha Tate showed in the Holly Holm fight that she can utilize an excellent game plan, fight intelligently, and choked Holly Holm unconscious and walked out of that octagon the new UFC Women's Bantamweight Champion of the world. And now Miesha has the opportunity to defend her title against one of the most dangerous challengers in the division.
One of 3 title fights at UFC 200 goes down when the champ Miesha Tate meets top challenger Amanda Nunes for the UFC Bantamweight Championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, the contender for the Bantamweight title, Amanda Nunes. And the Bantamweight Champion of the world, Miesha Tate. Also on UFC 200, Aldo versus Edgar.
In February of 2013, the featherweight division had its first super fight as former lightweight champion Frankie Edgar moved 10 pounds south to meet the king of the weight class, Jose Aldo. 5 rounds later, Aldo retained his title in a classic bout, but he knew he was in a fight. Now, Aldo and Edgar meet a second time, and the stakes are just as high.
The Frankie Edgar of 2016 is without a doubt the best Frankie Edgar we've ever seen inside the octagon.
I just feel like I've been knocking on his door for this title shot for a while.
He's still hungry, he's still improving, and this is a fantastic opportunity for both fighters to make their case.
July 9th from Las Vegas, Frankie Edgar and Jose Aldo fight for the interim UFC Featherweight Championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, Frankie Edgar. And the former featherweight champion of the world, Jose Aldo. And last but not least, everybody knows what's been going on with the main event of UFC 200. Nate Diaz wants to fight on UFC 200. He will fight on UFC 200. And we're going to find him a new opponent. Ladies and gentlemen, Nate Diaz. All right, who has the first question? Kevin.
Yeah, Dana, I guess 2 questions. First one for you. I'll go after what that guy over there said. Where's McGregor?
I think he's in Iceland.
Can you give us an update what's going on with that?
I mean, everybody knows. I mean, this thing is pretty much played out in the media. I mean, anybody who's sitting up here and anybody who's fought for the UFC over the last 16 years knows that you know, we try to give as much leeway as we can on things, but you have to show up to promote the fight. You have to show up to the press conferences and shoot the commercials. I mean, is it too much to ask to try to shoot a commercial or to do the promotion for the fight? I mean, a lot of these guys came here from different parts of the world, Brazil and New Jersey. But you know. these guys all came. They have better things to do, and they're here. It's part of the job. It's what we do here. It is what it is.
Who is Nate going to fight?
I don't know. We're going to figure that out. Obviously, we couldn't. You know, we didn't make a fight that fast. And listen, we gave Conor every opportunity in the world to get here too. You know, we get criticized a lot for bending too much for Conor, and we do. You know, Conor is a guy who has stepped up and fought in big fights on short notice, and I respect Conor very much as a fighter, and I like him. But you have to show up and do this stuff.
I think it was UFC 69, right? Didn't you do the Ultimate Fighter here and do the press conference in Houston via satellite? Did you ever think of doing that with him today and having him on satellite as an accommodation?
Is that fair? We could have beamed Jose in from... I don't know if you guys remember the last time Conor was fighting Jose. Jose's sister was getting married. And he was sitting right here for that fight. Jose flew in for that press conference. He stayed here for most of the questions, and then for him to be able to get time to get back for his sister's wedding the next day, he had to leave, and he did it. And many fighters have done this and had to sacrifice certain things to be here. It's part of the job. It's the one thing that you have to do.
And then if I could ask, Nate, if I could ask you straight up in the middle. I just wanted to ask you, Nate, how have you taken all this? And so right now you don't really know who you're going to fight. Is there anybody out there, you know, rumors of GSP being on the card? And I know, you know, he fought your brother, maybe Robbie Lawler. Is there any thought in your mind of who you would prefer to fight? And how have you dealt with all this McGregor situation?
I came to fight Conor McGregor, and I don't really have too much interest in anybody else. I don't have any interest in fighting at all. But if that's what we were going to do, I thought we were going to do it.
Dana, just to be clear, everything that you said is 100% accurate and fair, but there is still nobody sitting there. So is Conor still in the running? Could this still happen? Since the promotion hasn't started with anybody else, couldn't he say yes? Or are we closing the door entirely and saying Conor McGregor is ruled out of UFC 200?
Listen, I just don't see how that's fair. You know what I mean? He came in from Stockton, you know, days ago, Poland, you know, Brazil, and the list goes on where these people have come from all over the world, you know? And I get it. It's tough when you have to, you know, when you have to leave everything you got going up. The fight's 3 months away. The fight's still 3 months away. That's why we do it this early, so we try not to interfere with their training and their lives and everything else. It's just part of the deal. These guys came. Listen, I was talking to some of the guys backstage, the fighter, you know, they would like Conor to fight on the card too. People want Conor to fight. So do the fans, the media, everybody. You think I don't want Conor to fight? Of course I do. But it's not right. You can't not show up for this stuff. You can't do it. It's not right.
The Fed will be ruling him out at this point.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
Do you see? Yes. Holy shit.
Just want to be clear. And then one other question for you. Khabib Nurmagomedov said that he was offered a fight with George St. Pierre at UFC 200. I just wanted to verify the accuracy of that and find out, does that mean that George is committed to potentially fighting either?
To the best of my knowledge, that is completely inaccurate. Yeah, I wasn't in that meeting.
Fair enough. Thank you. If I could, for Misha, please. Misha, after your last victory, of course, we immediately started wondering what was next, and the conversation was, is it Holly, is it Ronda? You end up with Amanda instead. What's your take on that? You know, when they came to you with the offer, what did you think? And do you feel she's a deserving #1 contender at this point?
Yeah, I love this fight. I always want to fight girls that are on a win streak and are the new hot thing coming up, and I think that's Amanda. I think she's one of the most well-rounded girls in the division. I think she poses problems that most of the other girls do not. So I'm very excited for the fight. But let me clarify, I'm not against a rematch with Holly. I'm getting a lot of heat for that, but I'm, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not the matchmaker, and we agreed that Amanda is the next girl in line, so that's fine with me.
Thank you, Misha. And just one quickie for Joanna, if I could, please. Dana revealed to us that after Tough wrapped, you and Claudia kind of got into a little bit of a skirmish when the cameras were off. I'm curious if you could just recall what happened that day, kind of who was to blame for what happened and how it all went down.
It was a long time ago, so I don't remember. But I thought I asked Claudia if we could have some coffee after everything, but she said no, so. her choice.
A question for
Gonna
Nate.
put the fist into your mouth, July 8th.
I think you need that somewhere else.
I told you when you send me few kisses in the gym, I say to you that I'm engaged. I'm not a different one, so.
I guess he's
Later.
not doing the
Later.
right job, you know, because if he was,
worry.
you wouldn't be that bitch.
When we came in for rehearsals, they had these two sitting right here, and I was like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Who's got the next question?
A question for Nate. Hey, Nate. Dana said at the top of the press conference that you're going to remain on the card, that they're going to find you a new opponent. I'm wondering if that interests you, if anyone outside of Conor McGregor interests you for UFC 200.
Ariel just got here.
I didn't ask for that fight, but he asked for it and he wanted it. And if that ain't gonna happen, I'm going on vacation.
So just to be clear, it's Conor or no one for you at 200, right? And I'm also wondering if you read what he wrote on Facebook yesterday and if you understood, you know, you and your brother have sometimes had issues with doing media tours and things like that. Do you kind of understand where he's coming from a little bit?
He's got a lot of catching up to do, so there ain't no time for this shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I've been dodged all this for years. I've been in trouble for it, you know? So I understand. It's all good. Let him do his thing, get his train on, and then get ready to fight. It's all good with me.
So have you told Dana, say, look, this is the fight that I want, this is the fight that people want, let's just make the fight. If you're okay with it, have you tried to have that conversation with him?
Hey, that's what he wanted, and I'm down for whatever. Like I said, I'm going to come here to fight if we're going to get that fight going. If not, I'm going on vacation, for real.
And just for you, Dana, obviously this was a huge news story this week, and I'm wondering if you've looked at the amount of buzz this has generated and kind of thought, well, to his point, to Conor's point, the fight is even bigger now. So yeah, it maybe wasn't the plan, but let's roll with this, and now it's an even bigger fight and we'll make more money at the end of the day.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with that, but Conor will fight again. Is it fair to everybody that's sitting up here? I mean, people came in from Poland and Brazil. I mean, how many times do I got to say that? I mean, is that fair?
Well,
huh?
Well, I was told as a young kid, life is sometimes not fair, right?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes people get special treatment, and I feel like.
But it's not right. That's it sets a bad precedent. It's not the deal.
Okay.
It's not the deal, man. These guys came in from all over the world, and they're here, and it's been that way for 16 years. People have been doing their, you know, their PR. We even, and Nate just said it. We've had our moments. You ask me, is it, you know? So we're spending $10 million. We put up all the money. We're spending $10 million in promotion on this fight, and we can't even shoot a commercial with the main event?
He did say New York, though. Were you open to negotiation as far as doing it next week?
The whole production crew is here. They came in from L.A., and they're shooting all these guys here. They've been shooting the commercial the last 3 days.
Okay, one last thing. Just, I wanted to get
your...
Yeah,
I know it's not, it sounds like it's not that easy. Conor, listen, Frankie and Jose are going to fight, and Conor will fight the winner.
Okay. So what's your response to Nate saying that if he doesn't get Conor at 200, he's not interested in being a part of the card?
Yeah, well, we'll work that out. We'll talk, and you know, we'll figure it out. The thing is that I didn't want to screw him out of UFC 200. You know what I mean? If he wanted to be a part of this thing and wanted to fight, then I wanted to give him that opportunity.
Okay. I guess the part I'm just not understanding is if he wants to fight and Conor wants to fight and everyone wants to fight, why not just make the fight?
Next question.
Thank you, Dana.
I know. Life's tough. Ariel said it.
Question for Dana.
Yeah.
Dana, if you do find a new opponent for Nate, and if it is not, in fact, Conor McGregor, would the fight remain in the main event slot regardless of who the opponent is, or would that be determined
Say
later?
that again? What would what?
If Nate gets a new opponent, okay, would he stay in the main event slot, or could he possibly...
Well, one of the title fights would be the main event. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, is it a lock that it would be a welterweight fight? I mean, I realize the welterweight champion doesn't have a fight right now, and the lightweight champion does, but could it possibly be back at 155?
That's up to Nate. We'd have to talk about that. Like I said, we gave Conor every opportunity to be here today. So we haven't really talked to Nate about any options yet. We will.
Dana, could you also confirm the accuracy of the reports that we heard that when you were trying to work this out with McGregor, he was offered a private plane, he was offered to have all the gym equipment shipped over stateside? Is that all true?
All these guys were flying private for the press tour. Yeah, they were all flying private. It was from Vegas to Stockton, Stockton to New York. Yeah.
And finally, on that subject, is it possible, I'm assuming all the guys have and ladies have a clause in their contract about doing reasonable promotion for a fight once they're contracted to do it. Is there a possibility that a fighter that wouldn't do that after they signed a bout agreement would be in breach of contract?
What's that?
Could a fighter be in breach of contract if they agreed to a fight but then did not promote the fight after it was scheduled?
I don't know. We're not going there. I mean, you know, everybody knows that that's the deal. You know, we're not talking breach here. Conor, you know, it is what it is.
Question for Frankie Edgar. Frankie, you're getting your rematch with Jose Aldo. The first time you guys met, that was a very closely contested fight. A lot of people argue you may have won that fight. Do you anticipate doing anything differently this time around, or do you think it's a matter of the judging then versus the judging now? Same game plan.
I'm just trying to make the distance between me and him much greater so then judges can't get it wrong. I'd love to go in there and get a finish, and then I don't have to worry about the judges. I feel like the momentum's on my side this time. I'm ready to get it done.
Question for Travis Brown. Travis, can you speak to the importance of this fight for your career? Obviously, you're still a very highly ranked heavyweight coming off of a win, but given the fact that Kane is #1 contender, was this rank as one of the more important fights of your career, given what's on the line?
Definitely. Fighting a guy like Kane, you know, he's #1 contender. He ran the division for years. So getting a fight on 200 on that big of a stage against a great opponent, there's nothing more important in my life than come out here and compete 200, give the fans what they want, scrap.
And final question for, if I could ask this of Rafael dos Anjos and Jose Aldo. Both of you guys have been on the other end of the Conor McGregor show in the past. What does it look like as an outsider watching this, the way it's played out this week? If I could ask that question first of Rafael.
Can you say it again, please?
Yes. Could you, you know, you are on the outside looking in now of all the chaos that's gone on with Conor McGregor as opposed to the fight that you had scheduled with him originally. How does that appear to you now as a bystander? Is it a little bit of a relief to be on the outside of that and have a different opponent?
Yeah. Everybody, like Dana said, everybody has, you know, I'm supposed to be in Singapore training now. I cancel all my trip to be here. I'm leaving to Singapore tomorrow. And you know, I think Conor find a way to run away from Diaz again.
Thank you.
Question for Eddie Alvarez. Eddie, obviously only a few days ago you said that this title fight actually wasn't on. Can you give us the kind of turn of events of how it came together? And also want to know, are you slightly disappointed considering it is a title fight that it's not on UFC 200?
I don't mind what venue it's on, whether it's 200 or I'm fighting for the world title. I'm looking at this as an opportunity of a lifetime, and I'm taking it dead serious. So I'm just grateful to be in the position I'm in and be able to fight Rafael, and I'm looking forward to becoming the next UFC lightweight champion.
Question for Dana. Dana, quite a few people are saying on social media that they picked up on one of the promos for UFC 200 that it says there's going to be 3 title fights. So something you want to tell us?
That there's going to be 3 more fights? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I hear that it says there's supposed to be 3 title fights, and I can only count 2 so far.
Right. Yeah, we're working on it. So today, obviously today, we're here announcing what we have so far, but 200's a work in progress. It's still 3 months away, so we will continue to.
Good stuff. Nate, just one last question. What's the kind of timeline for you? I guess, if you are going to fight Conor, if it does happen to come together, what's kind of the, when is the last time that they can let you know this is going to happen? You obviously got to get into a camp yourself, prepare accordingly.
I'm sorry?
When's the last kind of date that you would like to know that you're going to face Conor, if it does happen? Obviously, you've got to have a proper camp, proper training. The more time goes by, the less time you have to prepare.
When do I want to know when I'm fighting? I'm training to fight at UFC 200 against Conor McGregor, so that's what I'm training for.
First question is for Kane. Kane, do you change anything in your training leading up to UFC 200 to make sure you remain healthy?
So I agreed, to Dana to come here, but I was told that I wasn't going to answer any questions. Dana, tell him.
What?
So, joking. No, yeah, just after all the years of just recently, all the injuries and everything else, I think something does need to happen, in my training to just to make the fight, because that is the most important thing, is to actually make the fight. Me as a provider for my family, as a thing that I love to do, and I know that me training with Daniel Cormier and Luke Rockhold, I still feel like I am the best guy at this weight division. My body just needs to be healthy for the fight. So that definitely is the most important.
Next question for Dana. You mentioned that you were filming the commercials here in Las Vegas. Has Nate filmed any commercials?
Did you? He has not.
So, next follow-up question, how do you plan on filming the commercials for Nate, given that he doesn't have an opponent yet? Would that leave it open for Conor to still film commercials?
Well, he pretty much just said, I don't want to fight anybody but Conor. So, I don't think me and Nate are going to have a long conversation about this. Seems pretty simple.
So there's still the possibility of you filming more commercials somewhere else for UFC 200, given that there's still arguably another title fight that can be made?
Maybe, maybe not, yeah. Listen, I'm obviously working on something that I'm not telling you.
All right, good enough.
I just want to be on a commercial.
This is for Jose. Jose, it seems like everything we've read and seen everywhere, you're almost obsessed with fighting Conor again. Since you're not, is it hard for you to change that motivation over to Frankie in a rematch?
Acho que você parece que está obcecado para lutar com o Conor McGregor. Muda alguma coisa por você ter que lutar com o Frank Edgar?
Acho que não. Acho que é a mesma vontade que eu tô. Estou querendo reconquistar o cinturão. Então, o próximo passo é fazer essa luta com o Frank. E assim vencendo, eu sei que eu vou lutar pelo cinturão novamente.
No, I want to get that belt back, and the next step is Frankie, and after that, I'm sure I'll meet McGregor.
Next question is for Eddie Alvarez. Eddie, we've seen two different sides. Yeah, don't worry. There's a screen. Just look at the screen. We've seen two different sides of you, the one who gets in massive wars with people, and then the one who plays a little safe for the win to get back running. When you go back and watch these fights, as a spectator, not watching it yourself, which ones do you prefer, and are you going to split the difference? Have you figured out how you're going to do that against Rafael?
I'm learning over 13 years of fighting that everybody wants Tank Abbott. I'm not Tank Abbott. I'm not going to be Tank Abbott. I can't do that every single fight. I want to be tactical, but I want to win. I hear you fans out there who are saying things to me about being tactical, but it also takes the right dance partner. It takes the right opponent to get in front of me. I like this guy, Rafael dos Anjos. He fights violent. He fights with a high pace. this is the guy that's going to bring that out of me. Anthony Pettis wasn't the guy, to bring that out of me. He was simple to hold down, and I did what I wanted against him. This guy will help bring that dog out of me and help bring that fight, and I'm looking forward to putting someone dangerous in front of me, put my back against the wall, and bringing out that side of me.
Dana, this question for you. Hooray. Sorry. Dana, this question for you. Just yay or nay, if John Jones wins in really easy fashion, he doesn't get hurt, DC's ready in a couple weeks, months, is that something you could throw on 200?
It's a possibility.
Okay. And lastly, Cain Velasquez. Everyone we've talked to says the dude is a beast, he's mentally strong, and he just pushes his body even when he knows, in the fitness world we call them naggles, it's little injuries. Even though he has little injuries, he's just so mentally strong, he keeps pushing. Have you found a way so you don't get injured as much? Because we do like seeing you, and there's some time in between that we don't get a chance to.
Yeah, I definitely think, having that mental toughness is a good thing and a bad thing, It's definitely like a smarter way to train. Some people have said that to me. I haven't really listened to them. I'm kind of stubborn in that way. But now I think definitely is a time to implement those kind of things where I definitely do say my body is just for the fight, So that obviously now is a priority for me. So that's how I'm looking at things, Just listening to my body and making sure it's 100%, to fight for the fans and, just for me in general, just to fight in general.
We're here. First question for Amanda. You got a taste of how favorite Misha is going to be against you here in Las Vegas. So how's your mental preparation for this fight? And would you rather fight someone else for the belt? Because Misha seems to be really complete. She seems to be like a real complete champion.
I think this is the best fight for me, Like, this is the moment I've been waiting for my whole career. And I think Misha's tough, but I'm going to be ready for this fight, And I can't wait to fight for the belt, This is the only thing I'm going to say.
And next question for Dana. UFC just announced the top finale for Latin America #3 on November. What are the possibilities to have Cain Velasquez, if that's a fight night, if he's not wearing or fighting for the belt, or if Henry Cejudo gets to win to defend the title there in Mexico City in November?
Obviously, if we're going back to Mexico, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have Cain and Henry. So, yeah, the odds are good, as long as they're healthy and.
And for Henry, if he wins, to defend the title in Mexico City?
And him too, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Yes, sir.
Hi, question for Misha. You just fought a month ago. Don't you think this fight against Amanda comes early?
No way, man. I'm excited to fight. This is what I've been asking to do for a while. So I love the quick turnaround. Since I've gotten into the UFC, I feel like it's been a little bit longer of turnarounds than I want. So I'm obviously prepared for either, but I love to get in there. I love to fight. I like to make money. I like to beat people up. So it's a good day for me.
Question for Jose Aldo. What do you think about being back in line and fighting for the interim title?
O que você acha de estar de volta no octágono e de volta lutando pelo título?
Acho que é o próximo passo para me ser campeão de novo. Então, estou muito motivado. Lógico que a gente queria lutar, fazer uma revanche, mas não veio, mas já colocaram isso. Eu tenho que encarar dessa maneira. Então, para mim é só o próximo passo para me ser campeão de novo.
This is the next step for me to become champion. Obviously, I wanted a rematch to fight McGregor, but this is the next step, so I'm happy.
And at last, Dana, are you disappointed at Conor?
Am I disappointed? Listen, Conor's done some great things for us too. I'm not mad at Conor. This thing just is what it is. Obviously, as you continue to see it here today and everywhere else, it's an unpopular decision, but it's the right decision.
Thanks.
Yep.
Question for Dana. You just mentioned that it might be an unpopular decision. UFC 200 is I think, bigger than just your average event. It has some significance to it. You know, you guys have been talking about it for a long time. Do you think that it can be as big without Conor McGregor after he was already, you know, scheduled to headline the card? Do you think it can still be as big without him?
Listen, Conor has a huge fan base. Conor, you know, people love to see Conor fight. When he does media, it's second to none. I think he's one of the best ever when he does interviews and things like that. But yeah, UFC 200 is going to go on. It's going to happen, and you know, it is what it is.
A question for Nate. I mean, you've said that you still want to fight Conor McGregor at UFC 200. If they're saying that it's not fair to everybody else that you guys showed up and that he didn't, do you care one way or the other that he's not standing over there?
Yeah, I don't care. He wanted to fight. I didn't even want the fight. I didn't ask for the fight, but they want to make this fight happen. And it was going to be a big deal, and if I'm going to fight, it's going to be a big deal, because I've been fought everybody for nothing all the time anyway, or, you know what I'm saying? I want a big fight, big things, and if it's going to happen, we're going to do it. If not, then, like, I'm not doing shit, you know what I'm saying? And then if he wants to fight, and he's not here, I don't know what these guys think, I don't care. It's whatever.
Hey, Nate, one more for you, and this might sound like a weird question, but Conor just tweeted something that makes it seem like that he's at least watching this press conference. You got anything to say to him if he's watching?
What did he tweet?
He tweeted something to the effect of he respects everybody making it out here, but no one on the stage made the company $400 million in the last 8 months or something like that.
Conor got his ass beat.
Question for Dana. It seems like Nate wants to fight Conor, Conor wants to fight Nate. You mentioned that Jose and Frankie, the winner, would fight for the featherweight title, but if Conor doesn't want to fight, then what happens?
Then the title is vacant. Whoever wins that fight is the champion.
Have you communicated that with Conor at all?
Conor knows. Listen, guys, Conor's a smart guy. He's not a dummy. Conor doesn't know what's going on. He knows what's going on, and he'll, you know, you can see where his mindset is right now. So it is what it is.
Question for Frankie. When you hear all this, you've obviously wanted to fight Conor for quite some time now. Do you feel like that he's been avoiding you for such a long time, or what do you think is going on in his head?
I don't know what's going on in his head. I don't really care. You know, I think this fight should be for the vacant title right now, to be honest. I don't think he's ever coming down to 45 if he ever even comes back. So I think me and Aldo should go at it for the real one.
We got a couple more questions. Who's next?
Hey, Dana.
Yep.
Just to ask you, would it be too expensive if, let's assume that you don't change your mind and Conor doesn't fight on this card, to put him on a card against the Edgar Aldo winner in New York and have with Ronda? Would that be too expensive?
No, Conor probably wouldn't fight in New York either. He'll probably fight, and it depends on what happens to these two, you know, how they come out of this fight in 202 or something like that.
But assuming, I mean, wouldn't that be a good place for you have two big Ronda and Conor as the headline stars?
Don't worry, Kev. We got New York.
And financially, would that be okay? I mean, you know, paying that kind of for the top stars, could you deal that?
Yeah, but he won't. He'll fight before that. He would fight before that. Again, depending on how these two feel. No more questions? Okay. Listen, thank you, everybody. We appreciate it. And stick around for the weigh-ins, and we'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to square these guys off. Have a great day.
He's the best pound-for-pound fighter in the sport.
He's cleaning his division out.
John has been a legend in the sport.
If guys thought I was strong in the past, this new level is ridiculous.
I'm on a new level. I'm on a new level.